Hello everyone, Professor Thompson here. I just wanted to take a few minutes on this September 19th to talk about just a couple issues in the online Net 01 class. First of all, the grades for Unit 1 are for the most part complete and should be updated by this afternoon. All of that information will be posted, all grades updated for all of Unit 1. Some of you have already come in and talked to me and had a conference with me in my office, which is great, about kind of where you stand in the class. Others of you, we have scheduled a conference in the next day or so. I just want to kind of mention a few things about the grades, and the grades are really a reflection of, at times, how well some people follow directions and how well you watch the videos or read the syllabus. And so it's important that you realize and understand and take ownership that those grades are important, and you want to make sure that you are not waiting until the last minute to complete certain things, and that while you complete them, you are following the directions that are laid out and have been laid out since the beginning of the term. One of the most important aspects of this course, and I've really emphasized that because it's listed 3 or 4 times in the syllabus, it's listed on the course schedule, and I've talked about it in more than one video, are the State of Illinois speech submission requirements. Those requirements, again, are you must present your speech in front of 8 or more people in a public place, and that submission must be in an unedited form. It's amazing to me that I still received video submissions where I cannot verify your audience. If I cannot see your audience, if I cannot physically count the people in your audience, it is a 0. I cannot give you credit for something that I cannot see. Okay? I can see based on the video camera what your venue is. If it's a classroom, a boardroom, an outdoor amphitheater, an outdoor park, I can see that pretty easily. I am very adept at picking up edits within videos and how scenes might be spliced together. But the one thing that I cannot magically do is turn the camera in your recording. And so there are some of you where I could not verify your audience, and thus, per the state of Illinois, and communicated in my syllabus, I have to give you 0s for your speech. And that is not on me, and I feel bad for doing it, but I can't take anybody's word for it. I can't just trust people because this is a state requirement. It has to do with the course accreditation and course transferability. So if you ended up with a 0 on this speech, it does not necessarily mean that I felt like your speech deserved a 0, but based on the submission requirements, it's a 0. So you have to remember that. I had a conversation with one person, and just because you receive a poor grade on Speech 1 does not mean that you cannot claw your way back to a satisfactory grade in the class. And so I need you to remember that as well, that 1 or 2 kind of bad grades, whether it's a speech assignment or a couple modules or quizzes that you messed up on, that's not going to ruin your overall grade. I think we sometimes get way too caught up in, I have to have an A, I have to have an A. I need everybody to remember that an A is superior work, right? C is average, B is above average work. It reflects much more effort, thought, emphasis and control, grasp and performance. And then A is superior work. So that's, again, something to think about. An A isn't something that you get just because you turned everything in. Or an A isn't something you get just because you did it. And I think that becomes a kind of societal misconception about classwork in general. So I need you to remember that. You have to follow all the directions. You have to pay attention to those details. And that's key. And so as you get ready to submit speech number 2, are you showing your audience? Can I count the audience members? Can I identify it's in a public place? You have to remember all of that. All right, finally, I want to give you some feedback on the first set of speeches. For the most part, everybody did pretty well. I will be scanning and sending back some brief information, but it will not tell you anything other than what I'm telling you right now. Across the board, everybody needs to trust themselves more. You need to get out of your notes. You need to get out of your tools to help you, and you need to understand your message. Practice, practice, practice. That presentation should be done multiple times before you ever record it and submit it. If you are just recording and submitting it without practicing it multiple times, that's on you. The Chicago Bears don't practice once or twice and then get ready for an entire season and don't practice anymore, right? They watch film, they study, they practice, then they practice more, they watch more film, they practice. It is multi-layered and multimodal in order to try and achieve success. Well, I guess in the Bears case, they're horrible, so they don't have a lot of success. But the Broncos, okay, or Patriots are even 1-1 this year. But the point being, you have to practice. If you aren't practicing, then you aren't preparing. And so you have to remember that. Get out of your notes, but that's the point. That's what I was trying to make. The second thing is that you have to really think about, as you get out of your notes, what does my body look like? How am I using my hands? How am I using my space? Am I paying attention and looking and making eye connections with my audience? Those are important elements. Another thing, source citations. Your source citation handout is posted at multiple points within Blackboard. But remember, for your source citations, as the handout says, you need to cite the author. Check that. You need to cite the source of your information, and you need to cite the date of your information. So it needs to be something like, according to Jennifer Johnson, in her January 25th, 2012 New York Times article, she indicated blah, 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 blah. That's a source citation, and you have to have that orally cited in your speech with both that source and the date information. Now, if I really want to look it up, I can go to your bibliography page where you actually have your written citation at the end of your outline, and then I can see who the author was. I can see all the other information that I need to see. But in the speech, you really have to say, according to the author and the date. Or you can flip it and say the date and the author, right? In a January 1st, 2017 Rolling Stone article, blah, 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 blah. So make sure you're doing that as you record these next sets of speeches. Like I said last time, do not wait to the last minute. If you are waiting until the last minute, you're asking for trouble in the speech submission process. Get those speeches recorded, get them in early, and get ready and move on to the next unit. If you have questions or concerns, please email me. I am leaving tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the 20th, for Orlando, Florida, and then I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia. So I am out of my office for the rest of this week on college business. I'm going down doing some stuff with a committee that I'm on. So I will still be doing college business. I will still have access to my computer, my emails, all of that great stuff. So if you have questions, contact me. Just realize I'm not necessarily in my office. That's the beauty of internet education, online classes, is you don't have to be in Glen Ellyn, Illinois to be successful. So get your work done. Best of luck. See you all later.